2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff.
Live from somewhere deep in the Freedom State of Florida, it's the Let's Be Frank Show with your host, Frank.
Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of our Freedom Stream special night tonight. I actually have an in-studio guest, and hopefully everything's going to sound good. I got the bad camera. It was on purpose.
He tried to give me the bad camera.
I did try to, but I'm looking forward to tonight. This is a first for me to actually having an in-studio guest. We have Katie Zed. Oh, Uniquely S is already saying feedback on the mic.
So we should. No, that's not going to help.
That's not going to help.
We might need to just.
I may need to.
What if we turn off this mic? Will they pick? Let me mute myself.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me from here?
Can you guys hear Katie? Because I can turn this to where I'll get both sides. There we go.
Can you guys hear me?
Can you guys hear Katie?
Hello.
Yep.
I might have to yell.
It's okay. I yell all the time in here.
Maybe put the mic closer to me and you yell.
Sort of. Katie says sort of. Oh, you know what I can do is I can bring that chair over here, put it there, and that way it'll be in between. And I'm loud enough for my voice to carry anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So let me do that.
I'll get the chair.
Okay. No, yeah, that chair. Yeah, okay. I forgot I had a chair back there. And then we can just move this mic over here like so. Okay. What about now? Can you guys hear me? Turn Katie's. Oh, I can turn the mic up. The gain. There we go.
Testing.
Testing.
Hello.
1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4. Can you hear us? Let's see here.
How is that mic quality? Maybe.
Yes, they can hear us.
Okay.
They can hear us. Yes.
I should turn.
Yes. Good. So we're good. I turned the gain up so that way it would catch.
Across the room, high five.
Bam. We're good.
We did it.
We good. We spent like 25 minutes at the beginning. I told Katie there might be a sound issue when we came on, and to expect that. So it's great to see all of you guys tonight. Thank you for coming out on a Thursday night for a / I didn't name it Freedom Stream. I just named it the title. Normally I would throw the Freedom Stream in there, but it's more of a special night tonight. I have an in-house guest. Katie came all the way from where she lives to come visit us and visit some other people. And she's like, we got to do this stream. She talked about the stream probably a couple months ago.
It was the day after the first Trump attempt.
Yes. Yeah. So it was the first attempt on Trump. And so she's like, wouldn't it be cool if we actually did a history of all of the presidents who have been targeted for assassination? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And I knew she would go ahead and put together a list, and she did.
What is it, 25 pages?
25 pages.
I like research. I can't help it. When I get an assignment, I have to do it all. I go all out.
And so that's what we got. And so I was looking forward to doing this stream, and we are committed to seeing it all the way through tonight. We are streaming on Katie's Zed's channel, and we are streaming on my channel.
Yes.
And we're also streaming on X. And I think that's it. That's it. Okay. Those are the only places we're streaming tonight, but it's quite a few places. So I'm very excited. Welcome to all of the people over on Katie Zed's stream. Welcome. I'm Frank, if you don't know who I am. I'm the host of the Let's Be Frank channel and the Freedom Stream over here on this channel. And of course, everyone, this is Katie Zed. She's the host of her Katie Zed channel, which she covers a lot of true crime and crime in general. So if you're interested in that, check her out. She's a fantastic friend and also co-host for the night.
Thank you, Frank. That was so nice. And if you're on my channel right now, why are you not following Let's Be Frank? What are you doing with your life? Come on, hit the follow button.
Yeah, so this all started with the attempt on Trump. And since then, Katie, there's been another active attempt on Trump.
Yeah.
Since it's 2 months, 2 months removed.
Possibly 3.
Yeah,
Attempts.
possibly 3. Yeah, so we're going to detail some of these. But after that first attempt, it really kind of brought back a lot of flashbacks of obviously the Reagan assassination attempt, which he survived through, but also JFK. That one, everyone goes back to JFK. That's like the most famous hit on the president.
Yes.
Abraham Lincoln.
I mean, that was a really long time ago. I think there's people still alive today that remember like where they were when
JFK.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I talked to my mom about this stream, she was detailing like how she felt and what the nation felt when JFK happened. So I think that's a little fresher than Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, could be. I guess it's not as fresh as you think about it, but it's in the history books where they teach it in schools most of the time. I guess I don't know. I haven't been in school in forever, so
Yeah, me neither. I'm very old.
So, let's go ahead and look at this poll that I put up on the channel real quick. I'm kind of percent of you guys. Oh no, it keeps fluctuating. We've got 33 votes right now. In there, the question was, how many U.S. presidents have been targeted in the history of the U.S.? And I'm not going to give you guys the answer yet. We will give you the answer 30 minutes into the stream.
And we'll give you the answer 24 pages from now.
But the answers that were on the screen that you could choose from was 40 presidents targeted, 28 presidents targeted, 19, and 9. Right now, according to you guys in the chat who are listening to this stream right now and watching at home, have it at 60% at 9 attempts on 9 different presidents.
Okay.
So that's where the chat has it. So I will continue to monitor this throughout the night, and at about 9 p.m., we will go ahead and reveal what the true number was. You guys might get a sense of it by the time we get there anyhow.
Yes.
So, Katie, let's go ahead and jump in to this, because there was a couple of presidents on this list that I had no idea were targeted.
When I was researching this, same thing happened. I'm like, really? And especially some of the later presidents where I was alive for it, and I had I was reading these stories, and I had no idea that it even happened. So apparently I wasn't watching the news then, or it just wasn't publicized. There's a couple where it's like they thwarted it. Like they thwarted it before anything bad really happened. So, I could see why we wouldn't hear about it right away.
And even maybe ever, because it's like you said, it's not really reported on the news. It's like, oh, by the way, so-and-so was targeted for assassination today. Secret Service got him. So, and lately, it doesn't seem like Secret Service has done a great job at protecting this presidential nominee, former president himself, in this election. So that's what kind of sparred this. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off. Somebody says Katie needs a mic.
We're trying so hard. We have to.
I'm going to turn it's up all the way now. I'm going to scoot it a little bit over closer to you now. There you go.
We have 2 mics, but there was an echo with 2 mics in the same room.
So we're
trying so hard.
We're doing our best. Okay, so kick us off, Katie. A lot of people may not know this first assassination attempt. Andrew Jackson, Old Hickory.
Yes.
I knew about this one though.
January 30th,
19. Wow, I didn't know he was alive that long.
1835, just outside the Capitol building, a house painter named Richard Lawrence attempted to shoot President Andrew Jackson with 2 pistols. They both missed fire. Lawrence was apprehended after Jackson beat him severely with his cane. Lawrence was found not guilty for reason of insanity and was confined to a mental institution until his death in 1861. How about that story? More people should know about Andrew Jackson beating a guy with his cane.
After he tried to kill him.
Yeah.
He sit there and he had 2 shots.
Yeah.
He had 2 shots and they both misfired. And Andrew Jackson, I could just see him taking his cane, just going to town on him. You try. I'm sure there's probably a line of explicitives that he probably was saying as he was probably beating this guy down.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was I knew about that story. I had read about that one before, and of course, you would think up to that point, many people may not know this, but Andrew Jackson was the first president that was not part of the founding fathers generation.
Yeah.
He was the first president not part of the founding fathers generation, and so it was a time of shifting new in the country, and he was the first what you would classify as a populist president.
Okay.
So
I think that's such a good story that more people should know. Like we hear about the cherry tree with Washington and like all of these little stories and tidbits. Why don't we know Andrew Jackson beating a guy with his canes after being trying to kill him? It's crazy.
Yeah, and for many of you guys that don't know, Andrew Jackson was also, he was a general. He fought in the Battle of New Orleans. He was the first governor of Florida, by the way.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know that, military governor of Florida when the U.S. took possession of the state of Florida, he was the first governor of the state of Florida. So technically, the first president from Florida was Andrew Jackson. I'm just saying. But he was born and raised in Tennessee.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Tennessee or Kentucky? Somebody's got to check me on that. I think it might be Kentucky or Tennessee. I feel like it's Tennessee though.
The only thing I'm going to remember about him from this point forward is that he beat a would-be assassin with a cane, 2 guns and a cane.
Loaded Wrench says he keeps a picture of Andrew Jackson in his wallet. I'm glad that you, in this economy, Loaded Wrench, you can have a picture of Andrew Jackson in your wallet.
Very true.
I may have a picture of Andrew Jackson in my phone, definitely not in my wallet. It's a 20 that I once used to own. So.
Well, Frank, we're 15 minutes in. If we spend 15 minutes on each one of these, we are going to be here till tomorrow.
I know, but Andrew Jackson is such an interesting president and figure in the U.S. history. There's just so much we can sit there and go on and on about Andrew Jackson. But we won't. I will spare you guys any more of my boring details of Andrew Jackson, and we'll continue to move on.
Let's get to Abe, good old Abe. Honest Abe.
Number 2 on our list.
Number 2, but did you know that Abraham Lincoln, they tried to kill him before they killed him?
Yeah.
I didn't know this until
after he won the presidency the first time.
Yeah. So in February 23rd, 1861, then President-elect Lincoln passed through Baltimore amid threats of the Baltimore Plot, it was called, an alleged conspiracy by Confederate sympathizers in Maryland to assassinate Lincoln en route to his inauguration.
He had to actually travel in disguise on his train to the Capitol.
Okay. Well, like he already had his face is a disguise.
Well, he didn't have the beard yet.
You see bank robbers wearing the Abe Lincoln masquerading as a disguise.
He didn't have the beard yet. He was nice and freshly shaved still. But truly, I mean, how would he go in disguise? He was a very recognizable individual. He was so tall, especially for that time, and lanky. Yeah. And
like gone. He was like had the sunken in those cheekbones for days.
Yeah.
So the second attempt was August 23rd, 1864, when a lone shot fired by an unknown sniper missed Lincoln's head by inches, passing through his hat as he rode in the late evening, unguarded. He just was wandering around Washington, D.C. for some reason, unguarded. Just north of the White House, he was on his way to a place called the Soldiers' Home, which is where he would spend the evening or the nights in the summer because it was cooler in that building for some reason. It was like 3 miles away from the White House. Yeah,
it's crazy. Up to this point, president still did not have any security detail with them.
Nothing.
Because the president was still viewed up to this point was that they were very accessible to the American people. You know, you could still go up to this point, or I think before the war, they may have started extra guards at White House, but before, like in Andrew Jackson's time, you could actually walk up to the front door of the White House and ask to speak to the president.
Saw some Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, like, hey, dude, I am upset with you about this thing. Let's talk about this. Obviously, we can't do that any longer. But yeah, Secret Service did not form until after the assassination of Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln. Continue, I think, and then of course the successful one.
Exactly. So the assassination.
Oh, before you go on there, I find this very familiar with this second attempt when the lone rifle shot by an unknown sniper missed Abraham's head by inches. That's President Trump that took place 2 months ago.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's the difference between his ear and his head. It literally went through his hat.
Yeah.
When that happened. That's crazy.
Yeah, because he wore the big top hat.
Yeah.
Made the guy thought he had like a big forehead.
He was one of
Like Conehead.
Conehead movie. So the assassination took place on Good Friday, April 14th, 1865. Of course, everybody knows the story. It was at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. About 10:15 p.m., John Wilkes Booth, a well-known actor and a Confederate sympathizer from Maryland, he had contacts with the Confederate Secret Service in 1864. Booth formulated a plan to kidnap Lincoln in exchange for the release of Confederate prisoners.
So his original plan didn't involve killing them.
No, it was kidnapping originally.
Yeah.
And then after attending an April 11th, 1865 speech, I want to make sure. I was thinking, did I say 19 again? No, I said 18. Well, April 11, 1865 speech in which Lincoln promoted voting rights for Black people, the blacks. Booth decided to assassinate the president instead. Booth, I'm trying to.
Booth formulated a plan.
I can read as well as Frank can pronounce it.
Booth formulated a plan with co-conspirators to assassinate Lincoln at the theater, as well as Vice President Andrew Johnson, which is kind of surprising because Andrew Johnson was very sympathetic to the South.
Well, and back then, wasn't it where the runner-up was vice president automatically, or did that stop?
I think that had stopped at that point, and they would pick somebody that was, but they would still try to pick somebody in an area that would help them carry votes in that area. Andrew Johnson and Secretary of State William H. Seward at their homes. As the president sat in his state box in the balcony watching the play with his wife Mary and two guests, Major Henry Rathbone and his fiancee Clara Harris, Booth entered from behind. He aimed his .44 caliber Dingringer pistol, Derringer. See, Derringer. I'll just make up my own words. Derringer pistol at the back of Lincoln's head and fired, mortally wounding him. Rathbones momentarily grappled with Booth, but Booth stabbed him and escaped. Lincoln died at 7:22 on April 15th, and that's why we have Tax Day on the 15th.
Is that why?
No.
When I was doing the notes of this, I'm like, I wonder if that has a correlation. And then you said that. So yeah, everybody knows that story. We learned that in school. I think Abraham Lincoln was the first time we learned about somebody's death or assassination, like somebody killing some, like a murder in school. Was this? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I don't remember learning about a bunch of murders in school.
No.
I would have probably done better in school if it was like all about. If it was like my channel is, you know.
So we fast forward a few years from 1865 to 1881.
Yeah, now we're at James Garfield in a Washington Railroad station, and embittered attorney Charles Julius Guiteau, probably mispronounced that, shot the president. Guiteau considered himself a loyal Republican and convinced himself that his work for the party had been critical to Garfield's election to the presidency. After Garfield was elected, Guiteau was convinced that Garfield was going to destroy the Republican Party by scrapping the patronage system. The patronage system is a spoil system. It's like where they would get elected and then give all their friends and families jobs or whatever.
So kind of almost like it was like nepotism.
Yeah, and exactly like that. And he was upset because he did all of this work.
He was hoping to get a spot in the administration.
And he didn't. Yeah. So, let's see. Where
in politics and government, as spoil system, as known as patriots. Oh, okay.
So mortally wounded, Garfield lay in the White House 4 weeks. Alexander Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, tried unsuccessfully to find the bullet with an induction balance electrical device which he had designed. On September 6th, Garfield was taken to the New Jersey seaside, and for a few days he seemed to be getting better, but on September 19th, 1881, he died from an infection and internal hemorrhaging.
Isn't that crazy that they allowed a scientist to experiment on the president of the U.S.? He's like, yo, I got this device I created.
Yeah.
I don't have a success rate with it, but we can try it out and see if it works.
I guess.
And what was it supposed to do? It's like it's supposed.
Metal detector.
Yeah, but bullets weren't metal; they're lead. Was he looking for like a shell casing? Because that's the only way he would have found it.
I don't know what. I mean, I don't know what bullets were made out of back then.
And they had to have been lead back then as well. I don't see.
An induction balance electrical device. I don't know what that is. It would be funny if they accidentally like created a taser and tased the president. And that's what killed him.
And so they took him out. You know why they probably took him out to the seaside, right?
Just the fresh air.
Yeah, the salt air. They figured would.
And he probably seemed like he was getting better because a lot of times people who are on their deathbeds will all of a sudden have a moment of clarity or all of a sudden seem like they're getting better. And this happens like even today.
Yeah.
Where people in nursing homes will all of a sudden seem like they're great. And like that's just towards the end, actually.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
And that's what happened to, unfortunately for him. I mean, he wasn't in the office very long.
No.
He didn't get to do anything.
He just didn't give the jobs to the right people.
Yeah, he got to die. That's what he got to do.
Yeah.
Here's your reward for winning the presidency. Wow.
William McKinley is our next one. Friday, September 6th, 1901.
Yeah, think about that. That's only 20 years removed. So we're 2 decades removed, and we're into the 19th, the start of the 19th century.
Yeah.
With or 20th century. Would that be 20th century?
Yes.
Yeah, 20th century. The onset of the 20th century, 1901, and we have another attempt on another president, William McKinley this time.
At a temple of music in Buffalo, New York, McKinley attending the Pan American Exposition was shot twice in the abdomen at close range by Leon.
Wow.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Zolgazo?
We're going to go with Zolgazo.
Yeah.
An anarchist who was armed with a .32 caliber Ivor Johnson safety automatic. I don't know what that was. A safety automatic revolver that was concealed underneath a handkerchief. The first bullet ricocheted off either a button or an award medal that on McKinley's jacket and then lodged in his sleeve. The second one pierced his stomach. Although McKinley initially appeared to be recovering, his condition rapidly declined due to gangrene setting in around his wounds, and he died on September 14th, 1901 at 2:15 a.m.
Does anybody is picking up a pattern in most of these presidents, what party they're affiliated with? Most of these have been Republicans that have been shot and killed.
Yeah.
With the exception of Andrew Jackson, who was a Democrat.
Was he?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know way more about him than I do. I just know about the murder stuff.
Yeah, he was a populist Democrat. He appealed to a more broader base of the country. However, his party was the Democrat Party. But most of these other guys have been Republicans who have been shot and killed thus far.
Yeah. What was Taft?
Taft was also a Republican. Republicans dominated electoral politics from the time of Lincoln all the way until the time of the Great Crash of 1920.
As it should be.
1929. And that's when we got FDR.
Oh.
So.
We'll get to him.
Spoilers.
Yes. Spoiler alert, we'll get to FDR. William Howard Taft is next, though.
8 years.
And Taft is actually, most people don't know who Taft is, or unless you're really into politics.
Taft was huge. He was a huge guy.
But the nearby public high school to where I grew up, I did not go to public high school because my parents are sane. But that was the nearby public high school to where I grew up in Chicago was Taft High School. So I knew a lot about Taft.
Yeah.
William Howard Taft and this is the one you have to read. Because it has a lot of Mexican Spanish.
Woo! Yeah, I think they were upset from. Oh, yeah, okay. William Howard Taft and Porfirio Diaz planned a summit in El Paso, Texas, and Ciudad Juarez Chihuahua, a historical first meeting between the U.S. president and Mexican president, and also the first time an American president would cross the border into Mexico. Wow, almost like a pretty historic thing, like Trump going from South Korea into North Korea. That had never been done prior to that. So the historic moment here as well. Diaz requested the meeting to show U.S. support for his planned 8th run as president, and Taft agreed to support Diaz in order to protect the several $billion of American capital then invested in Mexico. Both sides agreed that the dispute Chama Strip connecting El Paso to Ciudad Juarez would be considered neutral territory with no flags present during the summit. But the meeting focused attention on the territory and resulted in assassination threats and other serious security concerns. The Texas Rangers and 4,000 U.S. and Mexican troops and U.S. Secret Service agents, FBI agents, U.S. Marshals were all called to provide security. And an additional 250-member private security detail led by Frederick Russell Burnham, that's the celebrated scout, who was hired by John Hayes Hammond.
I may have gone into too much detail on this country.
Woo!
Sorry.
That was a lot.
This is one of the first ones that I did. Remember I said the first ones that I did?
Yeah.
So basically, they tried to kill him in Mexico.
But they were unsuccessful in this attempt.
Unsuccessful. Yeah.
So we head over to Theodore Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt, October 14th, 1912. So just a few years.
4 years.
Yeah. This happened so much. When I started doing this, I thought it was going to be a handful, like a handful, and it's so many. So John Schrank, a saloon keeper from New York, who had been stalking Theodore Roosevelt for weeks, shot Roosevelt once in the chest with .38 caliber Colts. Police positive special. I think it's just .38 special. The 50-page text of his campaign speech.
50-page? This is like Katie's dad putting together a show. Katie's dad, see, if you guys didn't know, Katie's dad was the speechwriter for Teddy.
The 50-page text of his campaign speech titled Progressive Cause Greater Than Any Individual was folded over twice.
Dude, 50 pages folded twice? Dude was a Chad.
It was folded over twice in his breast pocket, and he had a metal glasses case also that blocked the bullet and saved his life.
And then he trash talked him while the speech was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he didn't beat him with a cane.
He might as well. I think he would have just added more to his legend.
I think when you hear about stuff like this, I really feel it's divine intervention.
Yeah.
Because the chances that it happened to hit, and he happened to have both of those things in the same pocket or in the same spot, and if it's in his breast pocket, it would have killed him.
Right.
If the infection, he may have bled out.
Mm-hmm.
He might not even have to wait for the infection to kill him, right?
Yeah, and he went on, by the way, to continue and do a 3-hour speech after being shot in the chest there. And while doing that 3-hour thing, as I mentioned, he went on and trash talked the guy that shot him.
Yeah, I mean, Reagan did that in his next speech. After we haven't gotten there yet, Trump has done it. Like, I think that is the Chad move. Right? I really do. Yeah, so first Chad president.
Yeah.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Well, no, Andrew Jackson. He's the one that beat the dude with the cane.
Sorry.
Okay. How are we going to do that to Old Hickory?
Somebody make a list. So far on the list is Theodore Roosevelt and Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson, yes.
So Herbert Hoover, November 19, 1928, President-elect Hoover embarked on a 10-nation goodwill tour of Central and South America. Well, there's your first. That's your first mistake.
Come on, Hoover.
While crossing the Andes Mountains in Chile, the assassination plot by the Argentine anarchists was thwarted. And what they were doing was a group of them led by Servino Giovanni, who planned to blow up his train as it crossed the Argentinian plain. The plotters had an itinerary, but the bomber was arrested before he could put the explosives on the ramps.
Yeah.
So that probably, I mean, maybe back then it would have made the news. If that happened now, where they thwarted it before they even got it
wouldn't even hit the news
it
wire.
would have been a blip.
Yeah.
And then the next story, then Taylor Swift did something.
Taylor Swift, yeah. Taylor Swift broke it with Travis Kelce or something.
Exactly.
So we are at the 30-minute mark, Katie.
Oh.
So now it's time to reveal how many.
It's your show.
Oh, I know. I'm talking to you. You're in my studio. Now it's time to reveal. So let's go ahead and look at the update. We got 56 votes in right now. Before I end this vote, 40% of you, or 11% of you guys, believed it was 40 presidents were targeted for assassination. 9% of you guys believed it was 28. 20% of you guys believed it was 19, and 60% believe it was 9.
I think we've already gone through 9, haven't we? How many have we gone through already?
Yeah, I think we've gone through 9. Yeah. So the correct answer for you guys out there that are listening and watching and maybe wondering, the correct answer is 19.
Yep.
19. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll there. And the poll has been ended, and it's 19% of you guys got the right answer. So congratulations to the 19 of y'all, or 19% of y'all.
Smart people in your audience.
Or your audience.
Could be.
Yeah, could be. Could be. So we're picking up in 1933 now, and FDR.
Delano Roosevelt.
Yes, cousin of Teddy Roosevelt.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I'm not smart. I never claimed to be. 17 days before Roosevelt's presidential inauguration, Giuseppe Zangara fired 5 shots at Roosevelt in Miami.
What's up with these foreigners trying to take out our dudes?
We don't know that Giuseppe Zangara was a foreigner.
Bro, that's a foreigner name.
Okay. If you say it's Miami though, so
Yeah,
maybe,
he's probably Cuban.
maybe possibly. Zangara shots missed the president-elect, but Zangara did mortally wound Chicago Mayor Anton Cermak and injured 4 other people. By the way, if you're from Chicago, you know that Cermak is one of the main diagonal streets in Chicago, so he's a big deal in Chicago. Zangara pled guilty to the murder of Cermak and was executed in the electric chair on March 20th, 1933.
That's when we actually executed.
Why was the mayor of Chicago in Miami?
He was celebrating with his boy FDR.
Didn't he have stuff to do in Chicago?
No, he wanted to go hang out. Dude, who wants to be in Chicago when you could be in Miami? There's beaches and stuff, and I guess random.
We have beaches in Chicago.
They're on the lake. They're not the same. They're not the same.
It's the same thing.
It's not.
It's freshwater.
It's not the same.
It's the same. Waves and everything.
In 1943, Soviet NKVD claimed to have discovered a Nazi German Waffen SS plan to assassinate Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin at the Tehran Conference.
Yep.
Then, mid-1947, Harry Truman, during a Jewish insurgency in Palestine, before the formation of the State of Israel, the Zionist paramilitary organization Lehi was alleged to have sent a number of letter bombs addressed to the president and high-ranking staff at the White House. So almost like exploding pagers.
I mean, I know you're way more tuned into the news than I am, and plus I've been traveling, but the other stuff blew up now too.
Walkie-talkies.
Yeah, walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Like something, like, I don't know. It's crazy.
Don't buy anything from Israel.
Oh,
I don't know.
Was it a Samsung? I need to know what I need to get rid of.
Do I have parts from Samsung that are in my phone that came from Israel?
Yeah.
They're like, you don't have to worry if you're not a terrorist. I said, but yeah, what if a terrorist was sitting next to me and he blew up and I blew up too?
I'm sorry. I have been called a terrorist online before. I'm just saying.
Oh, goodness. So according to Truman, the Secret Service was alerted by British intelligence after similar letters had been sent to high-ranking British officials, and Lee claimed credit. The mailroom at the White House intercepted the letters intended for President Truman, and the Secret Service diffused them, exploding letters.
Yeah. So they tried on Truman again on November 1st, 1950, when 2 Puerto Rican foreigners again.
Yeah.
2 Puerto Rican pro-independence activists, Oscar Colazo and Rogelio Torresola, We're winging it here. Attempted to kill President Truman at the Blair House, where Truman was living while the White House was undergoing major renovations. In the attack, Torzola injured the White House policeman Joseph Downs and mortally wounded White House policeman Leslie Confelt. Confelt returned fire, killing Torzola with one shot to the head.
Wow, that's awesome aim for being wounded.
Yeah.
Mortally wounded the police officer. He was still able to get off the shot
I know.
and take him out.
Exactly. We're going to skip to jail.
So Truman was not harmed, but he was placed at a huge risk. Colozo was convicted in a federal trial and received a death sentence. So
that's one of those entries that I want to
So we come up to JFK. If you guys didn't know, there was 2 attempts on JFK. The first attempt taking place December 11th, 1960. Well,
this one, if you want to cue up that link that's coming up in the next one. It's up to you.
We won't be able to do the link because of the audio stuff we got going on. So,
Boo.
Boo.
You guys have seen this Zapruder film before. You don't need it.
yeah, you guys know the forward and back
Back into the left. Yeah.
into the left, the whole Seinfeld bit.
December 11th, 1960, while vacationing in Palm Beach, Florida, President-elect John F. Kennedy was threatened by Richard Paul Pavlik, a 73-year-old former postal worker who was driven by hatred of Catholics. Pavlik intended to crash his dynamite-laden 1950
Dynamite-laden Buick.
1950 Buick into Kennedy's vehicle.
I may need to get with Mr. Zed about Buicks and dynamite-laden.
I may or may not, but I don't hate Catholics. I am. But he changed his mind after seeing Kennedy's wife and daughter bid him goodbye.
So he had a change of heart at the last minute.
Exactly.
And then he was arrested.
He was arrested with a bunch of
Dynamite
in his
car. Man, I've never heard about it. That's pretty. I know it's not cool that he was trying to take out the president, but it's like it brings you a whole new aspect to car bomb.
Well, JFK was the first Catholic president,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
and he must have really hated Catholics.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't realize. Okay, I might be naive, and I know I'm kind of dumb and blonde, but I never realized that there was a hatred of Catholics. I'm Catholic. I grew up Catholic, but I never realized that people would ever hate me for it.
Yeah. So
until I was an adult, and like it's just crazy to me. Like,
so quick history lesson: when all of the people were fleeing to to America back in before the during the colonies and stuff like that, the Catholics weren't really accepted in any of the other colonies.
Yeah,
that's why you got Maryland.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
That's why it was established. And if you go into Maryland, there's lots of cathedrals in Maryland and stuff like that. So
I grew up in Chicago, and there's a lot of Catholics there. And it wasn't until I moved to Georgia that I realized that people hate me. So, I don't know why I live there, but I do.
So we knew what happened to JFK November 22nd, 1963. He was taken out by, of course, the official story is by Harvey Oswald.
Yeah,
Lee Harvey Oswald. So that's the official story that the government has put out there. I know there are other theories that go along with that, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole tonight.
No.
We got way too much to still get through.
But Lee Harvey Oswald was taken out. Like this one's glowing so much. I forgot we were going to play Glow or No Glow.
Yeah.
All the previous ones that we went through already are probably fine. This is the first glowing one. But Jack Ruby took out Oswald on November 24th. When he was being transferred from the city jail to the county jail, Oswald was fatally shot in the basement of the Dallas Police Department headquarters by a Dallas nightclub owner. Jack Ruby was convicted of Oswald's murder, albeit his conviction was later overturned on appeal, which is crazy because there's video of it. He died in prison while he's waiting for his new trial.
Of course. Yeah.
So, I mean, I assume the cameras weren't working on that specific day like some other people we know.
Yeah. Now, this one was surprising for me, this next entry.
Okay.
Richard Nixon Did not know they were trying to take out Richard Nixon, Treat Dick. I didn't realize they were a couple times apparently. So the first attempt was on April 13th, 1972. Arthur Bremer carried a firearm to a motorcade in Ottawa, Canada, intended to shoot Nixon, but the president's car went by too fast for Bremer to get a good shot. The next day, Bremer thought he saw Nixon's car outside of the central block, but it had disappeared by the time he could retrieve his gun from his hotel room. A month later, Bremer instead shot and seriously injured the governor of Alabama, George Wallace, who was paralyzed from the waist down until his death in 1998.
Yeah. The second time they tried to, and you didn't even know they were going to do it they did it once, but the second time was February of 1974 when Samuel Bayek planned to kill Nixon by crashing a commercial airliner into the White House. Where have I heard of that?
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's lots of little cool parallels that we see.
There's definitely a lot of parallels.
Yeah, it's like they're like test running these things, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do this later."
Yeah. He hijacked a DC-9 at Baltimore Washington International Airport after killing a Maryland Aviation Administration police officer, and was told that it could not take off with the wheel block still in place. After he shot both pilots, one of them died. An officer named Charles Troyer shot Bayek through the plane's door window. Oh, the door window, the window that's on the door. Yeah. The door or the window? What am I talking about in my notes here? He survived long enough to kill himself by shooting, so he took himself out.
Yes.
Much like that guy in that tank in Colorado.
Yeah.
Just,
the killdozer guy?
Yeah, the killdozer guy.
Yeah.
I did like a 3-hour episode on that, and for some reason, my mind, as soon as I started saying it, just like was gone.
What I find interesting on this is that he never got the plane off the ground.
No, the wheel blocks were in place.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of Sky King, because Sky King, if you watch that video of him hijacking that plane, he got out, moved the wheel blocks, and the plane started rolling, and he ran next to the plane and got on it while it was rolling.
That's some Tom Cruise level stuff.
It is crazy video. I definitely suggest checking out the Sky King and Killdozer episode on my channel when we're done here.
Gerald Ford had no idea they'd try to take this guy out. Maybe some of you guys do.
Good luck with this game. Your turn.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Wow. Marine Kerbergovs, also known as an alphabet bomber. Yeah, that's what his name looks like. Said in a message that he was going to come to D.C. and throw a nerve gas bomb at Gerald Ford. Then just 10 days into his presidency, within one day, the CIA, the U.S. Secret Service, and other law enforcement agencies working out of the White House basement identified Kerbergovich. He was arrested on August 20th.
That was really good. I'm actually impressed with you. I threw that to you because I thought it would be like, I'm going to watch Frank struggle right now. And he did great. That was amazing. So Gerald Ford's second attempt, we have our first woman would-be assassin. Yay for equality. So in 1975, we finally gained equality in the assassination department. Gerald Ford's second attempt was September 5th, 1975, on the northern grounds of the California state capitol. Lynette Squeaky Frome was a follower of Charles Manson. She drew a Colt 1911 45 caliber.
That's a big gun.
It is. I love a good 1911. She drew this pistol on Ford when she reached to shake her hand in a crowd. She had 4 cartridges in the pistol's magazine, but none of them in the firing chamber. As a result, the gun did not fire. So let's talk about something. Let's talk about women in policing or using, like, this is just so, all she had to do was rack the gun and it would have worked. She couldn't figure out how to rack the gun.
And it didn't fire because she didn't rack it.
Thank God it did.
Yeah.
But it's just, when I was reading this, I'm like, how incompetent. Like, the incompetence is just staggering.
I can see this being fueled by emotion and not thinking logically about the whole thing. And she got there and she saw him. She's like, oh, yeah, oh.
I don't even think it was fueled by by emotion, but I think she got emotion. I think she decided to do it for publicity because she was, she's
A follower of Charles Manson, right?
Yeah, she was she was one of those girls that followed around Charles Manson. Was like at his trial every day and all that. I think this was
Weird
for
girl.
publicity.
Wasn't what we're we still kind of have stuff like that now where women like follow these serial killers.
Crazy, and I'm blanking right now, but it's hybristophiliacs. It's called.
Okay.
I have the word.
Yeah. What one followed Ted Bundy
Yeah.
and had a relationship with him.
It's not one. It's hundreds.
Yeah.
It is hundreds of crazy women and men. There's some men that there's women killers.
Yeah. Okay.
It goes both ways, but it's mostly women following these insane killer men, and I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's called hybristophiliacs. Hybristophiliacs is what they're called.
So those women would rather be with the killer men than the bears.
Well, I almost think I think it's a feeling like they want to feel love, but they don't want an actual relationship. So they know these people are in prison for the rest of their life, so they don't have to actually have
that relationship.
They're in control. They can steer where it goes. I don't know.
That's really weird.
It is very weird. I should do an episode on it. But, okay, so Squeaky Frome was quickly restrained by Secret Service actually doing their job. And Frome was sentenced to life in prison, but was released from custody on August 14, 2009.
So she's out now.
She's out.
Is she still alive? 2009?
I believe she is. She may or may not be. I haven't checked.
I wonder how old she was. How old did we see how old she was? And
she was very young when that happened.
Okay,
So
she could possibly still be alive then.
She was like in her 20s.
Yeah. So maybe the
Hi, Squeaky, if you're watching this.
Yeah. Hey, shout out.
Email me. I'll have you on the show.
We talk about what went through your head. So this dude was attempted 3 times.
Oh yeah.
And the third time was not the charm on him. September 22nd, 1975, in San Francisco, California, Sarah Jane Moore, another woman, Sarah Jane Moore fired a revolver at Ford from 40 feet away. A bystander, Oliver Stipple, grabbed Moore's arm, and the shot missed Ford, striking a building wall and slightly injuring a taxi driver, John Ludwig. Moore was tried and convicted in federal court and was sentenced to prison for life. She was paroled from federal prison on December 31st, 2007, after serving more than 30 years. We have 2
in a row.
2 in a row released from prison that could still be alive. So
also 2 in a row women, by the way.
Yeah.
No women and then 2 in a row.
So Sarah Jane Moore, if you're watching, contact Katie.
All of my contact information is in my channel description. I'll have you on. We'll get your side of the story.
Yeah. Why not? So just a couple of years later, 6 years later to be exact, Ronald Reagan in March 30th, 1981. Ronald Reagan was returning to his limousine after speaking at the Washington Hilton Hotel. Would-be assassin John Hinckley Jr. fired 6 gunshots using a .22 caliber Roham RG-14 revolver toward him, striking Reagan and 3 others. Reagan was seriously wounded by the bullet that ricocheted off the side of the presidential limousine and hit him under the left arm.
Guess who is also out of prison?
Let me guess. Him.
And has a YouTube channel.
He has a YouTube channel for real?
Oh yeah, I played some of his videos on it. Yeah, he has a YouTube channel.
What's he talk about?
He plays music. He's upset. He does these videos about being upset that he's booking these shows.
And nobody's showing up?
No.
Oh.
People want to show up, but then there's other people who are calling the clubs, calling in threats. If you have him perform, we're going to bomb your club, or we're going to do these horrible things at your club. So they cancel his shows, and then he's very upset about it.
Yeah. So you can never get a venue.
No, he can't get a venue. Exactly. And he complains about it on YouTube, and he plays really not great music on YouTube. Hey, John Hinckley, if you're out there and you want to come on,
that's 3 in a row. John Hinckley. So
shoot me an email.
What's his genre of music? Does he play like rock?
No, I mean it's like pop music.
Okay.
It's not. I mean, it's
pop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like regular music.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like he plays guitar. It's like acoustic guitar, and he sings.
Yeah.
And he's not a bad musician. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
That's all. So George Bush. I wanted to put the shoe thing in here because I love that video.
Well, this is
not the
first George.
Oh, yeah, sorry. But since I already started talking about it, that video of that guy throwing the shoe at the other Bush, cracks me up every time.
Every time.
He
Cracks me up. Bobbing and weaving.
Yeah.
So George H.W. Bush, April 19th, 1993, 14 Kuwait and Iraqi men believed to be working for Saddam Hussein smuggled bombs into Kuwait, planning to assassinate former President Bush by a car bomb during his visit to Kuwait University 3 months after he had left office in 1993. So after he had left office in 1993, so he wasn't even president anymore.
No, yeah, same like Trump.
Yeah, same like Trump. So, which is interesting with this is George H.W. Bush, or George H.W. Bush, I guess. Yeah, he was deep in. He like ran the CIA before he became vice president of Ronald Reagan. And so I was surprised to actually see him on this list.
Yeah.
But it was after he was no longer president. So maybe they didn't have any use for him anymore, and they're like, yeah.
Yes, there's a bunch of them that are after they were president too. So Bill Clinton. So the first one was So the first Bill Clinton attempt. There's several Bill Clinton attempts too. It was January 21st, 1994. Ronald Gene Barber, a retired. You're rubbing off on me, Frank. A retired military officer and freelance writer plotted to kill Clinton while the president was jogging. Barber returned to Florida a week later without having fired the shots at the president, who was on a state visit to Russia. Barber was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but was released in 1998. Now, this one, I know he was released, but he just went there with this idea in his head.
Yeah, and never acted on it.
So
yeah.
I'm not too upset that he's out.
It's interesting because if you guys remember, Bill Clinton used to do a lot of jogging outside of the White House.
Yeah. Also, this one might be glowy too. I don't know. It's like I didn't look into the evidence. Okay, let's just put it there.
So the second attempt on Bill Clinton was in the same year, 1994, just toward the end of the year in October. Francisco Martin Duran fired at least 29 shots. That's a lot. Wow. With a 7.62 39mm SKS semi-automatic rifle at the White House from the fence overlooking the North Lawn, thinking Clinton was among the men in the dark suit standing there. So, if you've ever been to the White House, if you've ever been into the White House and actually had a tour, the window. I was all the way, and we did the White House tour.
Oh, okay.
They tell you that the windows are actually bulletproof.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they're thick windows.
Like, I kind of remember when this happened.
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
Yeah. I'm confusing it with the time the person ran into the White House.
That was Obama, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah. But this one, I do vaguely remember hearing about it, but I was 14 years old, and I probably didn't really care much about politics.
So listen to this. So when this is happening, 3 tourists, Harry, Ken, and Robert, and they have last names here, but I can't pronounce them. They tackled Duran before he could injure anyone, and they found a suicide note in his pocket, but he didn't die because they tackled him. These guys are heroes.
Yeah.
Dude was sentenced to 40 years in prison.
So 40 years in prison in 1990. He should be out or getting close to being out.
How long ago do you think 1998 was?
I don't know. Not 98. This was 94.
Still.
So 94 to 2004 is 10 years. 2024. Oh yeah, he still has a while. Yeah. Never mind. I can't do math today.
So in November 1994, this is Bill Clinton again. Osama bin Laden recruited Ramzi Youssef, the mastermind of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, to attempt to assassinate Clinton. However, Youssef decided that the security would be too effective, so he decided to target John Paul II instead. One or the other, whatever.
He has I think he had more security than the president does.
Oh, I mean, he's got a
Pope-mobile.
He's got a couple, yeah.
How many people do you know have the Pope-mobile type style stuff?
Just the Pope.
Just the Pope.
Trump needs it nowadays, huh?
Yeah, with his golf cart.
Yeah. I'm picturing driving around the golf course and the golf course.
So the fourth attempt on Bill Clinton happened in 1996 in November during a visit to Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC, forum in Manila. Clinton's motorcade was rerouted before it was to drive over a bridge. Secret Service officers had intercepted the message suggesting that an attack was imminent, and Louis Marletti, the director of the Secret Service, ordered the motorcade to be rerouted, and intelligence team later discovered a bomb underneath the bridge.
I remember when this one happened too. I don't know if nothing was going on in the news when this happened, but I remember seeing video footage of them giving the bomb out for them.
This time period right here reminds me of. Did you ever watch that movie Air Force One with Harrison Ford?
Probably when it came out, but I don't remember.
He was the president. He had just left Russia. He gave like a big terrorist speech or whatever, and then terrorists hijacked the Air Force One in midair, and he fought back the terrorist on the thing. Who was it? The main terrorist was played by Gary Oldman.
Okay.
Gary Oldman, and it was a pretty epic movie. I really like it. So I don't know how many of you guys have watched Air Force One, but I kind of
see Mr. Zed in the chat. Put that on our list of movies we need to watch. Recommended by Frank. So another attempt. So the fifth attempt was October 2018. So this is after he was president.
Yeah, obviously. Way after he was president.
Which I think this was on the list of targeting him, but I think we may have been targeting somebody else that lived in the house.
Yeah. Just
saying. A package containing a pipe bomb addressed to his wife, Hillary, was sent to their home in Chappaqua, New York, was intercepted by the Secret Service. It was one of several mailed to other Democratic leaders that same week, including President Barack Obama. Fingerprint DNA revealed that the package was sent by Florida resident Caesar.
Oh, I remember this one.
Yeah,
I was in D.C. when this happened.
Yeah, I think we covered this one.
I may have covered this one. Yeah. I may have talked about it at least.
I think this is right around when I first started watching.
Yeah.
So Caesar Sasek, who was captured 2 days after the package was intercepted. Prosecutors sought a life sentence for Sasek, but the judge instead sentenced him to 20 years.
So Sasek, he had this van that he drove around in here in Florida that was like covered in like Trump stickers and Trump memorabilia. I think there was actually something off it. This might be a glowy situation too. It just reads this way, right? You get this ultra fanatic fan of the current administration, and you convince him to, hey, how about you take out some of the people giving your guy problems?
Exactly.
You know, and before you know, I think he also sent stuff to CNN and MSNBC and places like that there in DC. The DNC headquarters there in DC. I was there. I was actually there in 2018. What was I doing? Oh, I was covering the first walkaway movement thing with Brandon Strucka. Yeah. If you guys remember that. That's when I first kind of started getting going. This is my first year. It was my first year on YouTube. I had just completed a full year in YouTube. My brother actually came with me on this trip as my cameraman. Didn't know very many people in the space yet. And so my brother said he would volunteer, come. I paid for his ticket and his hotel and his lodging, food. And he came with me to come and videotape. And we got to this event. And I remember we were sitting in our hotel room that morning that we were going to go out. And this news starts breaking. I was like, really?
Is that the walkaway event where they had to like reset everything?
No, that was the one later. Yeah, that was one later. That was 2020. That's the one that Steve and I like to talk. Yeah. But that was the first one I went to. I met a lot of great people. I met Magnificent there. I met Damien Damani Wright there. I met so many people. I ran into a lot of people that knew me too, that watched a couple of my videos. At the time, my biggest video at the time had 60,000 views. And it was talking about residents in Chicago who were tired of the Democrat politics in their city. And they were talking to Fox News about it. However, Chicago still ended up voting for more of the same there. And now they don't have grocery stores.
That's crazy. Chicago, there's a reason why I will take the Catholic faith in Georgia and not still live in Chicago. Like, you got to trade off.
So, yeah, that one jogged the memory there.
Yeah. So George W. Bush, first attempt. When I start the sentence by first attempt, that means there's more to follow. On May 10th, 2005. So May 10th, 2005, President Bush was giving a speech in Freedom Square in Georgia. You
know where that's at? You know where that? Oh, the country, Georgia. Oh, yeah. Not the state.
Vladimir Archuitan, we're going to go with that pronunciation, threw a live Soviet-made RGD-5 hand grenade towards the podium. The grenade had its pin pulled but did not explode because dude tied a red handkerchief around the grenade so tightly, preventing the lever from detaching. This is one of those situations like the glasses case in the last pocket.
Divine intervention.
Divine intervention. After escaping that day, Artusian was arrested in July of 2005. So
That's
did catch him, but this is like the chances that not only would have killed the president,
Secret Service and
people,
anybody that was on the stage or around.
The audience,
Yeah.
like a grenade is a big deal.
And Georgia used to be part of the Soviet Union, so grenades were laying around everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was no shortage to try and find grenades.
Just pick it off the ground, like picking apples. Yeah.
George W. Bush was attempted again May 24th, 2022, when Shahib Ahmed Shahab, like he has two last names that are the same.
Or I might have done.
Okay.
Wrong, I'm not sure.
An Iraqi citizen and resident of Columbus, Ohio, was arrested for involvement in a plot to assassinate former President Bush based on information obtained from conversations he had with several undercover FBI informants. Maybe an Eric Glowy situation here.
But I don't think so because I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I never heard this story.
And if it was a Glowy situation, we would all know about it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what I don't know for sure. Obviously, I'm just speculating. This is allegedly, in my opinion.
But what would be the purpose of taking out Bush in 2022? Is like he's not really relevant anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's not relevant, and I didn't hear about it. So
Yeah.
I think this might have just been a crazy.
Yeah. At least he wasn't eating pets in Ohio.
So I didn't even put how many. The next line of my note says Barack Obama. So very many.
So we probably won't catch all of them, but we'll catch.
Or do you want to just go back and forth?
We can go back and forth.
Fire?
Yeah, we can do a quick fire. So Barack Obama, so very many. December 2008, United States Marine, 20-year-old Cody Ray Brigham, stationed at Camp Lejeune, wrote that he had taken an oath to protect against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. In sign of a letter of intent, he identified President-elect Obama as a domestic enemy and a target of Brigham's planned plot. A search of his barracks uncovered a journal containing white supremacist material in June of 2010.
A Marine and a white supremacist?
Yeah.
That's still my heart.
Brigham was sentenced to 100 months in federal prison. What is that in like years?
100 months.
So 12 divided by 100?
4 years, something like that.
No, more than 4 years.
100 months, there's 12.
There's 12 months in a year.
So 8 years.
8 years.
Ish.
That's
We're
it?
Estimating.
So he should be out.
Yeah, he might be out.
Yeah, Brigham. Contact Katie's dad.
Send me an email. April 2009, a plot to assassinate Obama at the Alliance of Civilizations Summit in Istanbul, Turkey, was discovered after a man of Syrian origins carrying forged Al Jazeera TV press credentials was found. The man confessed to Turkish security services details of his plan to kill Obama with a knife. He alleged that he had 3 accomplices.
November 2011, 21-year-old Oscar Romero Ortega Hernandez was influenced by conspiracy theories and fringe religious viewpoints to attempt to take out Obama. Having traveled from his native Idaho, he hit the White House with several rounds fired from a semi-automatic rifle. No one was injured, but a window was broken. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison.
That seems like a reasonable sentence. Instead of 100 months. 2011 to 2012, the far-right terrorist group called FEAR plotted to carry out a series of terror attacks, which included assassinating Obama. The plot was foiled by 4 members of the group when 4 members of the group were arrested on murder charges, and one, Michael Burnett, agreed to cooperate with authorities in return for a lighter sentence.
In 2012, a mentally ill man named Mitchell Cusack of Westmere, Colorado, was arrested after confessing to his therapist that he had intended to take out Obama with a shotgun at a campaign stop in Boulder, Colorado.
In April 2013, rice and lace letters were sent to Obama and New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg vowing to kill anyone who tried to take away the sender's guns. The letters, in this case, were sent by actress Shannon Richardson, who tried to frame her husband, Nathan, for the crime.
Who's Shannon Richardson?
I have no idea.
I
should have pulled up her IMDb.
I need to Google it now, real quick, before we. Shannon.
She must be somebody.
Shannon, what was her last name?
Richardson.
Yep.
Anybody know who Shannon Richardson is? Let us know in the chat. Was she in anything we would know?
She's a Wikipedia former actress. Yeah, she's a redhead. She was on The Walking Dead.
Really?
Yeah.
She said ricin. You know what's funny is the ricin thing is from Breaking Bad. Nobody knew what ricin was before Breaking Bad. Let me know in the chat if you knew what ricin was before you watched Breaking Bad. I don't think anybody did.
She appeared in minor roles on television series such as The Vampire Diaries, Franklin and Bash, and The Walking Dead. Yeah. Huh.
So in June 2013, Obama's getting it like every other month, by the way. In June of 2013, two white supremacists, Glendon Scott Crawford of Galloway, New York, and Eric Fright of Hudson, New York, were arrested for a plot to kill Muslim Americans and other perceived enemies of Israel with homemade radiation gun, described by Crawford as Hiroshima on a light switch. It later emerged that Crawford had suggested using the device against President Obama as well as several other targets.
Interesting. Radiation gun. That sounds like almost like a supervillain.
I know. It seems kind of fake.
October 2018, a package that contained a pipe bomb, which we had already discussed, was sent to former President Obama at his home in Washington, D.C. The package was intercepted by Secret Service.
Personally, I think that was not aimed at him.
Yeah, I think that was a operation. I think that whole operation was a glowy operation. Yeah, that's the one we were talking about.
I think so too.
Yeah, to make Trump and MAGA look extreme. Yeah. See, they're threats to democracy. So we got to take out Trump.
Exactly. So April 2019, Larry Mitchell Hopkins, a member of the United Constitutional Patriots Militia, was arrested on April 20th after he allegedly confessed that his militia were training for a planned assassination of Obama and Hillary Clinton.
That was in 2019 as well, and I'm sure if any news wires picked this up, they probably tried to tie this to Trump as well.
Sure. Absolutely.
So 2019. I don't remember hearing about that in 2019.
How many, there's so many here that I had never heard of before I started researching. So many, like half of them.
Right. Yeah. So now we're up to President Trump.
This next one I never heard of.
Yeah. So the first attempt on President Trump was in September 6, 2017. Gregory Lee Langang, a 42-year-old man from Bismarck, North Dakota, attempted to take out Trump in Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan?
That sounds right.
Yeah. While Trump was visiting the state to rally public support, Langang stole a forklift from an oil refinery and drove toward the president motorcade. After the forklift became jammed with the refinery, he fled on foot and was arrested by pursuing police. I never heard about this one. While interviewed in detention, he admitted his intent to take out Trump by flipping the presidential limousine with the stolen forklift, to the surprise of authorities who suspected he was merely stealing the vehicle for personal use. So they knew he was stealing it, and they let him.
Well, here's the other thing: is he ratted on himself. If he would have just gotten convicted of stealing a forklift, that's like nothing. He'd probably be out the same day.
Yeah.
But he went into the police station and was like, "No, I was trying to kill the president." Like, what are you doing, dude? So the second attempt on Trump, I had never heard of this one either.
Right.
So the second attempt was November 2017. A man affiliated with the Islamic State,
or is
Islamic State, whose name was not revealed, was arrested. But why is the name not? This is so weird.
Glowy.
This is so weird. So his name was not revealed. He was arrested by the Philippine National Police in Rizal Park, Manila, for reportedly planning to assassinate Trump during a diplomatic ASEAN summit. Before the landing of Trump's airplane, the Secret Service discovered a credible terrorist threat from a man who threatened to kill the president on social media, quickly tracking down and arresting the terrorists.
Yeah. I find it weird his name was never released.
It may be different laws in Philippines. Like there's some places, some countries where they never release the names of killers and stuff because they don't want them to have
notoriety.
Exactly. So it's not like they're trying to keep stuff from us. They're trying to make it less tempting to want to do something like this. For
like copycat
fame,
reason and fame.
Yeah. To get Jodie Foster to.
Have you ever watched that movie? Speaking of fame, have you ever watched that movie 15 Minutes?
I don't think so.
It has Robert De Niro. I know I don't like De Niro's politics or all, but 15 Minutes, he's in the movie. He actually does a really good job in this. It's a killer who attempts to kill, or he kills a police officer to gain 15 minutes of fame. And it's in the news media is like trying to give him money to get his story and why he did it.
Crazy.
Yeah, you need to look that up. Put that on the list, Mr. Zed. 15 minutes.
Thanks, Mr. So the third attempt we all know about.
Yeah,
we covered it together. Breaking news. Breaking news.
We broke this one together.
What's funny is we're covering this, and I'm here, and another attempt just happened. And then also in the last couple of days, we covered Diddy together too.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of days, he got arrested too. It's like all the stars are aligning for me to be here right now.
Yeah. So we know about the third attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. The former President Trump, U.S. Republican Party presumptive nominee at the time, because he had not gone to the RNC's convention yet, was grazed by a bullet, wounding his right ear while addressing the campaign near Butler, Pennsylvania. Shortly after Trump addressing the rally, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks fired 8 rounds with an AR-15 style rifle from the roof of a building located around 400 feet from the stage. Crooks also killed an audience member, Corey Compratoro, and critically injured 2 other audience members. Crooks was shot and killed by U.S. Secret Service counter sniper team. So with this here, there's still a lot of answers that have not been given to us from this. One of them is how quiet his parents have been. And I think you may have said this during that stream. How could they have not known about maybe the plot or something similar to that?
I think this is going to be another Las Vegas shooting situation where we're just never going to.
We'll never know. We're going to have promises of investigations that lead nowhere. And they're hoping that the public's attention for it wanes enough to where it's not even brought up anymore. And which it almost is. I mean, we're 2 months out from that, and really it's been disappeared from the news for the most part. And up until this last attempt, which now they're blaming Trump for it. So
so the next attempt I'm going to go over, but keep in mind I made these notes several days ago and things may have changed. Okay, so I'm not sure, but just correct me if you know something is
I will do my best, because I have not followed. I've followed, but I've taken the day off today to hang out with friends. Hang out with friends today, so I haven't had an opportunity to be on social media much today and follow news articles. But go ahead.
I was hanging out with friends today too. So, fourth attempt, September 15th, 2024, Ryan Wesley Ruth was spotted by Secret Service agents holding an SKS-style rifle.
Haven't you heard of an SKS rifle before in these attempts?
A 38 was a very popular weapon too.
Yeah.
In these attempts. Yeah.
Just saying.
A lot of 38s in SKS. On a private golf course belonging to Trump in West Palm Beach, Florida, Ruth had his weapon pointed through the fence line of the golf course at a place that was commonly used to take pictures of Trump at a meeting. We've seen these pictures and videos before.
Yeah.
From that same angle where he'll be like walking by and talking, and like it's the same like
spot.
It's the same paparazzi spot.
Yeah.
which I don't understand why there wasn't paparazzi also there.
Mm-hmm.
To, like,
Maybe he's like, hey, yo, spot's taken, guys.
But it's very weird that nobody saw him.
He was there for a while, too, by the way.
From like 2 a.m., they said. Right?
Yeah.
So
you're going to get there.
after 12 hours lying and hiding, Trump was 300 to 500 yards away from him before being noticed. He did not take any shots. He fled the scene after being shot at by Secret Service, who noticed him while
Scouting ahead
of Trump. After a short police chase, he was stopped and detained without resistance. No one was hurt. Also, very weird that the Secret Service is shooting at him because just beyond that fence line is just a road with civilians, and I think there was a post office across the street or something. Like, there's just people beyond him. So for them to...
they claim during information I've seen is that they said that they saw the barrel of the gun poke out through the bushes, and that's when they opened fire on him. However, there's still lots of questions to be answered. Why was that area not... It's been previously known that that's where a lot of people gather to take pictures and stuff. Why is that not a spot where Secret Service already knows about it, or even any other private security that might be there?
Frank, it's because we get our Secret Service from Wish.com.
We do.
I don't even know if we want to talk about this one that happened yesterday.
Oh, was this a bomb attempt one?
Yeah, they found explosives.
Oh, that's when we were sharing articles back and forth, but we were both unconfirmed on some of this stuff.
I messaged Frank yesterday. I'm like, do I need to update the notes? Is this real? And he's like, I don't know. So I just made a bullet point in here that there may or may not have been. This is all unconfirmed, allegedly, in my opinion.
So
don't come for me. But explosives were found outside a rally in Nassau County.
Yeah, this is what I followed up on on this yesterday. Was that it was first reported that there were explosives, then the media reported there was no explosives, and then it came back that there was actually explosives, but they were using it as a training opportunity for their explosive sniffing dogs. Is what the narrative was.
They were doing training activity for
bomb sniffing
detection dogs, canines, outside of a Trump rally.
Yes.
This is what you're trying to sell me.
That's what I'm trying to sell you. That's what they're trying to sell us.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I believe that, but I don't know. So we did have one on Joe Biden. I put these presidents in order, so the dates are not necessarily in order, but you want to bring it on home?
Yeah, I'll bring it on home. I'm looking at the name. That's why you're sending it to me. I got it.
Candula.
A 19-year-old man from Chesterfield, Missouri, drove a rented box truck. Drove a rented box truck. I read it as he rented a box truck, like he went to go rent. Anyway, drove a rented box truck into a barrier that separated the White House grounds from the public. Shortly thereafter, he was taken into custody by the U.S. Park Police and was found to have a swastika hope flag in his truck. Kundalo expressed admiration for the Third Reich and stated his intentions were to kill the president and seize power. Definitely glowing. This was to paint, again, MAGA as being this all-encompassing everything evil that they want to perceive.
When this happened, I remember the memes coming out of because he was like parked in a truck.
Oh, that was like the
whole truck load.
Yeah.
It's just all of these were, and then they happened to find a mini swastika flag in his center console of his rented box. Like, really?
Yeah, who carries that? Really?
Come on, now.
It was like, it reminds me of when the trucker protest was taking place in Ottawa, Canada, or Alberta.
They will always send somebody in there with a swastika.
And then there was this brand new swastika flag that was flying. Yeah. I'm like,
Crease is real nice in it. They just came from Amazon.
Yeah, it's mailed order like overnight, and they were flying it so that way they could say, "Oh, look, it's racists that are not wanting you to take your vaccine or whatever." So, yeah, so that was the list of the 19
Can you guys believe
presidents that have been targeted by people or by our own government in some instances.
Yeah, I cannot believe it was that many. When I started doing this, I thought we'd have like a quick little 30, 45-minute show going over a couple of things, just talking. And then I started putting it on paper. And I'm like, Frank, we're at 18 pages. Frank, we're at 23 pages. Frank, we're at 25 pages. Like, I got to narrow it down some. So we didn't go into a lot of detail. I apologize for that. I'm usually really big on detail on my channel, but I wanted to at least hit all of them, at least have a little bit about each one of them so you guys can see that this is not an unusual thing that happens. It doesn't seem like, right?
Right, yeah.
And a lot of them get thwarted before somebody loses an ear, which, you know, should happen. Like that's usually better if it happens that way.
So almost more than I would say almost 30%, more than 30% of the presidents have been targeted for some type of assassination in the history of the country.
Yeah, it's so.
That's a big number.
Like it's a job that you think that the fishermen in Alaska have a tough job.
Yeah.
Like for as far as death toll, but man, the president, that's a tough job. And there's 4 that have been successful. So it's so many, and I'm hoping that there's no more for a very long time. And I remember thinking when that shooting happened with Trump, when I was on your channel, the last time I was on your channel, I think that was the last time I was on. But that this hasn't happened since, I was thinking, oh, this has not happened since Kennedy.
Yeah.
But
obviously it has.
It's happened a lot.
Yeah.
That whole list from Obama was like 12 of them or something in there.
41%
Yeah.
of our presidents have been targeted for assassination. That's almost half of our presidents.
Thanks for doing the math. I can't.
Yeah, I just did the calculation over here because it was bothering me. I couldn't. 30 sounded low to me with thinking about the number relation, so I had to do the math over here. Well, wow. So that was a lot. That was a lot to get through tonight. Hopefully you guys are better for it. I will try to do my best to cut this up into some shorts. That'd be fun. And maybe I'll catch some of the best highlights of it and see what we're able to keep and put out there.
Andrew Jackson part.
Yeah, Andrew Jackson was fire. I like that one.
He's my favorite.
I like that one. Yeah. So no attempts on Kamala from what, but she didn't do vice presidents.
I almost said that.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant. I'm not like I was. Told.
Yeah.
But
she didn't do.
Came out wrong.
Yeah, she didn't do vice presidents. Maybe if you guys want us to do a thing on vice presidents, I'm sure Katie would love to do another 25-page research project on vice presidents.
Well, what I'm thinking is because the last few presidents have had so many liberal attempts, I'm sure hopefully not, but if she does become president, I'm sure it will happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, it's these little plots, like hopefully nothing bad happens to her, but these little ones were like, oh, they put a bomb, but they found it ahead of time. And lose her. Like maybe something like that. Right.
So, but anyway, yeah, maybe we'll do a vice president list.
You keep saying that, but I'm just like, this was a lot.
I'm just thinking of collaboration ideas.
If you guys, that is a good one because I always try to think, because you have a political show, obviously, and I do true crime, so I always try to find
the crossover
stuff.
Yeah.
And this was a good one.
That we could get together and be able to stream about something. And
maybe next 4th of July, we'll do vice president.
Okay. That's
in studio.
In studio.
Not the studio.
Not the studio. We'll do it her studio. We'll do it her studio where they have air conditioning. Now she believes me that it is hot in here when I'm in here doing this stuff.
If I look shiny right now, it's because there's no air conditioning in the studio. Could somebody super chat some money for air conditioning, please? Thank you.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, that was a great stream. I enjoyed it. It's not often I get to do a history stream. And history streams are absolutely awesome to do. I'm one of those guys. My quick story: we went to Ohio back a few months ago. Back in April. Back in April, I went to Ohio. My brothers and I, because my mom was in the hospital, and so while we were up there, we had a moment to just have to ourselves, me and my brothers, and we decided we were driving through one of the towns there, and that had this very historical. Anything in the Northeast and Midwest, you're going to find a lot of historical stuff. And we found a fort. And we spent a good 4 hours at that fort geeking out over the history of the U.S. And of that fort and that area. So whenever I get into history about U.S. history, I absolutely geek out about it and just want to talk. Obviously, when I started talking a little bit more in depth about some of the presidents we're discussing today.
Well, next time you come to visit me, there's a lot of battlefields, like Civil War battlefields.
Yeah.
Like where I live in North Georgia, and there's a bunch of stuff. Like we're gonna have to come up, and that's what we're gonna do. Instead of going to see a waterfall in the rain, we'll go to the battlefields. It's super interesting stuff, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. That would be pretty fun. Well, I appreciate all of you guys who joined us tonight on this Thursday evening with not a very good scheduled stream, but it was fun.
It's when I'm here.
It's when we're here. It's fun. We get to have one. So I look forward to doing another stream with Katie very soon. I'm sure that we'll collaborate maybe on the P. Diddy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If is it state or federal charges?
I think it's federal because he's in the same prison as just Jelaine.
Yeah, so it's federal. We're not going to get camera.
We won't.
Yeah.
But I know that I was talking to some coworkers because the P. Diddy thing is mainstream. It's not like you have to be a true crime follower to be interested in. Some of my coworkers were worried that he was going to get Epstein.
Yeah.
Because it's the same prison where that happens.
Right.
Like the camera's not working, all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's in that New York prison, right?
It's a New York federal prison.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so
and R. Kelly's in the same prison.
Is R. Kelly there too?
Yeah, it's a bunch of people. It's
maybe they have like a concert in there.
Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell, R. Kelly, and P. Diddy all in this. Like, I mean, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so maybe Katie and I will go ahead and do a collaborative stream here in the near future about P. Diddy and update you guys on what's going on with that, and talk to you guys about that once we get more information after things start rolling. So, but outside of that, make sure you guys go check out Katie if you're over on my channel, Katie Zed. Just type that in.
KTZED on YouTube. You can find me there. All my contact information is in my channel description. So if you have any crime stories you want me to cover, email me.
For sure. And of course, over on Katie's stream, if you guys don't know me, you can follow me over here at Let's Be Frank. If you need a fill of political updates, I do a lot of political videos throughout the day, throughout the week. So a lot of them focusing on Trump and Kamala right now because that's the main political stories right now. So
it's election year. That's what happens.
I do have a cool story coming up that was suggested by Katie Zed that I decided to go ahead and cover. That'll be out later on tonight. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. It's actually a little variation from what we typically cover, but I think it's something cool and different, and you guys might get a good vibe from the story. So, but anyway, I will go ahead and get out of here for the evening with all of you guys. So thank you so much for showing up and being part of the stream, making it fun. And I hope to see you guys back next time when we get when I go back to a normal schedule, which I keep saying I will, but that normal schedule never ever seems to come out. But I will find a way to do a little bit more streaming. But from that point, for Katie Zed, for myself, we will see you guys next time. Have a great night, everyone. God bless.
Bye, guys.